Hey guys, how's it going? This is your old buddy J-Dub. James with Level 1 Motorsports. Hope everybody's doing really, really good today. Recording this on a Sunday morning. The wife has sent me to the store. She needed a few things, so I figured, hey, while I'm on my way to the store, we'll knock out a little taking the green flag for you guys. Is it I can't remember. Is it taking the green flag or is it just the green flag? Hell, I can't even remember. And I started the thing. But either way, you get the idea. You want to take the green flag and get started. That's the point of it. So one of the things I wanted to share with you guys this go around, something that's really truly helped me in a lot of different aspects of life, but especially business and especially my racing, is changing the way that you're thinking. And I dipped into this a little bit the other day. If you saw my video about being in the fan zone, I dipped into that a little bit, but I want to kind of expand on it and kind of go into a little bit about what I'm talking about. One thing that's really helped me is I started studying and reading up on the law of attraction. I started reading this book called The Secret. I haven't quite finished it yet. And hey, look, I know you guys are going to be like, oh man, old J-Dub, He's been hitting that Jaeger too hard. He's been hitting them Bud Lights too hard, talking about The Secret. No, some of that stuff out there is a little far to reach. But hey, listen, I honestly believe that when we control our thinking and control our thoughts, it truly does help. Now, I'm not saying you can sit down at the table and think about an ice cream cone or a pizza and one's going to magically appear in front of you. It don't quite work like that. But I do honestly believe that if you concentrate on the negative and the bad and the what ifs and the what if this happens and what can happen, then I honestly believe that's what you're going to attract to you. If you just look at the positives and just focus on the goal and everything, then I firmly believe that you're gonna attract the good side of it. I really do. I tend nowadays. Sorry, that's the seatbelt thing. My little dog is sitting in the passenger seat, and I guess she's tripped the seatbelt deal. But nowadays, I really try to concentrate on where I'm going. Not so much on how I'm going to get there or what it's going to take to get there. I set the goal and I go for it. And that's really changed things a lot for me. I don't concentrate on if we do this, what if, I set a goal based on realistic outcomes and strategies, but then once that goal's set, we just go for it. That's how that's how I look at these things. It's kind of like a lot of it's perspective too. It's kind of like say over the off season. Okay, let me back this up a little bit. I have two businesses now. I have Level 1 Motorsports and I have another business. And the second business I was able to start strictly from what I made from the racing business. I didn't have to go out. Fortunately, I didn't have to go out and take out a business loan or any of this stuff. Not that there's anything wrong with that, and actually probably down the road that's what we're going to do to help boost it. But to kick things off, I did it out of pocket. But one of my goals is within 10 years to have each of those businesses grossing $1 million profit a year. grossing $1 million profit. That doesn't even actually make sense. Profit and net are the same thing, not gross. Okay, grossing $1 million, netting $1 million a year. That's my goal for those two businesses. Now, on the racing side, this off season, we were looking at having to invest some, a pretty decent amount of cash and doing some upgrades and making sure that we're keeping up with the technology like we should, and we're putting a good quality product out on the track, and so that we're growing and that we're going to have better finishes and better opportunity for guys and things like that. But it was several $1,000s that we were looking at, and actually we still haven't stopped spending. But the way I look at it is I can look at that and say, oh man, that's a lot of money. Oh God. But when my goal is in 10 years to have two businesses netting $1 million each, man, what's a few thousand, and that's kind of the way you have to look at it. I mean, I don't want little problems like a few $1,000s. If you've got a problem of a few $1,000s, you don't have a problem. You want a problem, and that's what I'm focusing on. I want the problems that come from having two businesses that net $1 million each, which, by the way, in today's money still really isn't crazy money. But I have goals beyond just that, but that's kind of my first one, and that's what I want. I want the big problems. I want the big, because I can't be successful with little problems. I can't be successful worrying about a few $1,000s. I'm only going to be successful if I'm worried about tens of thousands of dollars, hundreds of thousands of dollars. That's when I'm going to be successful. So, and I know I'm fortunate in that I'm heading to be in that situation, but I've been on the low side of it too. But it's all on how you think, man. It's how you think. You want to have these big problems. You don't want to. Big problems equal success when you solve them. And that's what you want. Like if you're not racing yet, or you're racing at, maybe you've been racing, but you're just kind of doing the same old thing, and you're like, oh man, how can I get anywhere in this deal? And man, I can't seem to make any headway. Man, you got to change the way you think. Why aren't you and I hanging out? Why aren't you and I at the racetrack talking about how to make this thing faster, or how to make the car handle better, or strategies that you can use to make your racing career and yourself a success? Why aren't we doing that? Why aren't you and I doing that? Sorry. Only you know the answer to that. I mean, I put all this stuff out there for you guys, and only what's holding you back. And on that note, that's part of why I do a lot of this now. That's part of why I've expanded out, and we started doing little shows like Taking the Green Flag, and I've started doing videos. One of the things that I really wanted to do when I started reaching some success in the racing business was to give back and to help others. And don't get me wrong, I'm not at the Rick Hendrick level, I'm not at the Joe Gibbs level. But to me, I think if those guys gave you advice, I think a lot of guys would still have the mentality of, well, gosh, man, those guys came into the deal rich. What do they know? Blah, blah, blah. Whereas, I think if it comes from somebody like myself or our current crop of drivers that are on the upper side of the journey with us, that no, none of us are millionaires, and none of us are running at the cup level, but we are, most of us are making a living in racing and making a decent living and growing and taking that and growing it into other fields and being able to help others and provide for our families and things like that. So to me, that almost helps more, because you're talking to, what would be considered an average guy. And, but anyway, back to the point, I was happy, working behind the scenes and, helping guys that were coming to race with us and all that. But, after talking to a few different people, they're like, dude, you're kind of being selfish, because you're not reaching enough people that you could potentially help. And that's really what I want to do. I want to give back to something that's allowed me to make a pretty good living and be able to produce beyond that with my second business and growing that. And as the racing business helps my second business grow, my second business is going to help my race team grow, and they're going to work back and forth, and then we'll be able to help even more up and coming guys and help those guys get the opportunity that they may not otherwise get. So that's kind of why I'm doing a lot more of the little shows and the videos and that sort of thing. Man, we're just trying to give back and trying to help you guys, and hopefully, these things reach the right person or the right people. So anyway, that's all I got. I just pulled up to the old Wally World. That's right. J-Dub has not quite made it successful enough to not go to Wally World. But I'm working on it. So anyway, hey, thanks for listening, you guys. And seriously, on a serious note, if you're ready to get your deal started, if you're ready to expand your career, if you're ready to do any of those things, go to our website, l1motorsports.com. Shoot us a my email address is on there. You can shoot me a direct email, or there's a little thing that you can fill out with some information about yourself. Please include your phone number. I'd love to give you a call back. I'd love to talk to you about this stuff. Check us out on Facebook. We have a lot of our videos and pictures and updates and that kind of thing on our Facebook page. DM me on Facebook if you're serious and ready to get going. And, I'd love to talk to you. And, hope this has helped you, and I'll see you at the track.